Hiya! I'm here with another time-lapse video. It's been a while, but yeah, hopefully more regular uploads will resume. I've just been streaming for the time being and you know, just exploring different platforms and different things. But I've been drawing this whole time. You can check out the live streams, the regular place, on Twitch TV, but sometimes I am also on Mixer. So anyway, this is an older piece, but probably one of the first good ones in a while, so I felt like making a time-lapse of it. It turned out pretty good, so it might be useful to you somehow. Okay, so I started with a bunch of concepts. You already saw them flicker by, but I kind of narrowed it down as I was going. And it kind of started out with magicians and things like that, but I think I ended up with a Egyptian motif and maybe a prince or a couple of henchmen, something like that. And I just kind of threw it all together, and yeah, that's kind of how I arrived at the initial thumbnail. There was work on the composition, and yeah, I kind of like started narrowing it down between triangles and other elements I could use, and I eventually ended up with a trapezoid for tomb and a triangle for the priest dude. Yeah. So okay. You may notice this one is a little bit longer than the rest, but that's only because I was trying to evade the stuttering which was happening when I was trying to compress the video, which is kind of a problem. And I also switched off the cam and the weird overlay that I use on Twitch in lieu of video recording, and then I didn't produce any videos with that new setup. So this is like kind of the first video since doing that, but yeah, I've been kind of using this setup for a while now. Alright, so the brief information I was working with that I kind of concocted in my own head was some sort of frightening figure, possibly a pharaoh with bodyguards, or just some sort of priest risen from the dead, maybe even vying for world domination. So this is kind of what this mental picture that I kind of drew up in my own mind, so that I could kind of motivate myself to come up with designs and concepts, and you could kind of see me going through a bunch of them. Like the hat is one of those things that I started with, like a bunny avatar, and then I'm thinking, well, bunnies aren't very scary, so I'm gonna probably get rid of that and put in some birds and some other things, and maybe that could be his animal of representation. I know that there's a lot of lore in you know, Egyptian mythology where it's quite a bit of animal based type of iconography, so I thought that would be pretty useful. Yeah, I try to make a large I don't know, like large use of my triangular composition here to really play up the frightening, imposing aspects of the color scheme, aspects of the character. And the color scheme is kind of my just regular default browns, blues, evening colors. I could have probably used a more nighttime scheme, and that could have played to my advantage for scariness factor, but I was thinking like Egypt, and that kind of I associate that with oranges and browns and sand type colors, so that's what I ended up with. Center focus is pretty classical way of using vertical or portrait aspect ratio, so it pushes narrative, and it's widely used for iconography or portraits of important figures. Pretty useful if you can knock out a center composition without it looking too centered. I think that's always That's always a plus. You may notice that I broke out the calculator app in the middle here. Not sure if that part's coming up or it's already passed. But I think I was having a discussion on PPI, or pixels per inch, dots per inch, versus pixel resolution and efficacy of using higher PPI for digital painters who generally don't go to print. Kind of basically what I do. Or, you know, if I do go to print, it's already at such a high resolution that I can just kind of change the PPI value, and it really won't change the quality of the print, because, I don't know, these go up to 10K, sometimes 12K, and then I think this one is actually a little low resolution, but yeah. So I think that at the end of the discussion, we basically concluded that high pixel ratio, just like a 10K by like 4K, or 6K, something like that, and low PPI, which is standard 72, probably the least laggy setup for digital painting, and allows for a lot of versatility. Honestly, even down the line, you can just change the PPI, and it really won't do too much as long as you're not printing something that's just, colossal. Because 10K is like, I don't know, 55 inches or some crazy number like that. It's a very big what's called painting size. So it's not really something you have to worry about too much. I tried to work in a lot of lore and just weird stuff for you to find in the back. Small paintings of maybe his origin story, or I don't know, things that could maybe have been important to the guy in his past life, and yeah, things like that. Most of the time, though, was spent on the character design, making him look frightening, imposing, just kind of coming at you. I find the more emotion you can draw with, simple things like posture and, the position and kind of the demeanor of the figure, the less work you have to do with making him, too over designed and scary, just, based on the facial features or something. But those also play a role, so they're also important. But yeah, I think the fundamental ideas and how you set them up, like composition or posture or focus, or how centered the thing is, or even aspect ratio, play a lot of very important roles, and might even outweigh design in a lot of cases. Not saying that you shouldn't focus on design though, but yeah, something like that. You gotta have both, and yeah, even if you have a great design and you, but you don't show it off with every supporting element you can, all of the composition, and things like that, then your design is really wasted. So yeah, it's kind of a manifold that feeds into itself. So better composition might lead you to a better design, and a better design might let you reconsider your composition and change things to make an overall better painting. But yeah, that's basically it for the time lapse. Thanks so much for coming by, and I'll let the music play for the rest of the thing. You can find me on Twitch or Mixer. I am Darnasart, and yeah, thanks again, guys. Oh, and the music is from Ben Sound. Cool stuff. Thanks for letting me use it. Appreciate you.